He didn't shoot his way to the top. He didn't scream, didn't threaten, didn't burn down his rivals' businesses in the middle of the night. Lucky Luciano did something far more dangerous than any of that. He thought. And in the criminal world of 1930s America, a man who could think clearly was more terrifying than a man with a gun. Before we go any further, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is where the real history of organized crime lives. No myths, no Hollywood gloss, just the truth. And it is always stranger than fiction. This is the story of Salvatore Lucania, the man who looked at the chaos of American crime and decided to build something that would last. The man who, in a single decade, transformed a collection of warring street gangs into a corporation. The man they called Lucky. And luck had almost nothing to do with it. The year is 1920. America has just handed organized crime the greatest gift in the history of capitalism: prohibition. Overnight, alcohol becomes illegal. Overnight, the demand for it explodes. And overnight, the men willing to supply it become fabulously, almost incomprehensibly wealthy. In New York City alone, there are 30,000 speakeasies operating within 2 years of the Volstead Act passing. 30,000. And someone has to supply every single one of them. Into this world steps a young Sicilian immigrant who arrived in New York at age 9 with nothing but a sharp mind and a complete absence of fear. By the time he is a teenager, he is running a small protection racket on the Lower East Side, charging other kids a penny a week not to beat them up. It is primitive. It is cruel. It is also, in its own way, a perfectly functional business model. He understands leverage before he understands long division. What separates Luciano from every other ambitious criminal of his generation is one thing. He does not care where you are from. In a world rigidly divided by ethnicity, the Italians here, the Irish there, the Jews somewhere else, and never the three shall meet as partners, Luciano simply does not see those walls. His closest allies are Meyer Lansky and Bugsy Siegel, both Jewish. He brokers deals with Irish bootleggers. He treats competence as the only currency that matters. This is not idealism. This is pure pragmatism. And it gives him an advantage that no amount of muscle can match. By the late 1920s, New York's Italian underworld is locked in a stranglehold controlled by two old-world bosses, Giuseppe Masseria and Salvatore Maranzano. Both men are what the younger criminals call mustache Petes, old Sicilian traditionalists who believe the mob should be run exactly as it was run in the villages they left behind: slow, insular, suspicious of anyone who wasn't born on the right island. Luciano works under Masseria, watches him carefully, and concludes that the man is a millstone around the neck of every operation he touches. So in 1931, Luciano makes his move. He arranges a lunch for Masseria at a restaurant in Coney Island. The food is good. The conversation is relaxed. Luciano excuses himself to use the bathroom. 4 men walk in. When Luciano comes back out, Masseria is dead on the floor, 4 bullets in him, an ace of spades fallen from his hand. Whether that detail about the card is true or embellished, nobody can say for certain. But it became legend, and Luciano understood the value of legend. Maranzano, seeing Masseria fall, declares himself the boss of all bosses, capo di tutti capi, and restructures the New York families into the 5-family system that still exists today. He gives Luciano a position of power. He also, almost immediately, begins planning to have Luciano killed. He has read Luciano correctly as a threat. He has simply acted too slow. Within 5 months, Luciano sends a team of killers, deliberately chosen as Jewish men Maranzano's bodyguards won't recognize as mob, into Maranzano's Park Avenue office. Maranzano is stabbed and shot. The age of the mustache Pete's ends that afternoon. What Luciano builds in the aftermath is unlike anything American crime has ever seen. He refuses the title of boss of all bosses. He finds it vulgar, ostentatious, and strategically stupid. A single target painted in bright colors. Instead, he creates the Commission, a governing board representing the 5 New York families, plus powerful organizations from Chicago, Buffalo, and beyond. Disputes go to the Commission. Wars require Commission approval. No single man holds absolute power. It is, in structure and function, a corporate board of directors. It is a system designed to make money rather than make war, and it works with stunning efficiency. At the height of his power in the mid-1930s, the enterprises under Luciano's influence generate an estimated $100 million a year. Prostitution, narcotics, gambling, labor racketeering, the tentacles reach into the garment district, the docks, the restaurants, the construction sites. Entire legitimate industries move only with the mob's permission, and the mob's permission costs a percentage of everything. The fall, when it comes, arrives through a prosecutor named Thomas Dewey, who is young, relentless, and operating with a focus that makes him uniquely dangerous. Dewey builds a case not through violence or informants with grudges, but through meticulous financial and testimonial work. In 1936, Luciano is convicted on 62 counts of compulsory prostitution. He is sentenced to 30 to 50 years in Clinton Correctional Facility, a maximum security prison in upstate New York so remote the locals call it Siberia. But even from Siberia, the reach does not entirely disappear. When World War II brings German submarines to the American coastline, and naval intelligence grows desperate for control over the infiltrated docks of New York, they cut a quiet deal with the man in the cell. Luciano guarantees labor peace on the waterfront and provides intelligence contacts in Sicily ahead of the Allied invasion. In return, in 1946, his sentence is commuted. He is deported to Italy, never permitted to return to American soil. He spends his remaining years in Naples and Rome, meeting with American mobsters who make the pilgrimage to see him, maintaining influence across an ocean, watching the empire he built continue to function according to the architecture he designed. He dies of a heart attack at Naples Airport in 1962. He was 64 years old. There are no dramatic last words on record, no final gesture. Just a man who had run harder and faster and smarter than almost anyone around him, stopping at last. The 5-family structure he built still exists. The commission he created, battered, infiltrated, prosecuted, still functions in diminished form. The idea that crime could be organized like a business, governed by rules, insulated by layers, run for profit rather than glory. That idea did not die with him. It spread. It was copied. In every major criminal organization that followed, the cartels, the syndicates, the networks that now move money across digital borders rather than harbor docks, you can find the fingerprints of the logic Luciano applied in a room full of dangerous men in 1931. He never raised his voice. He built something that outlasted every enemy who came for him, every prosecutor who studied him, every government that tried to destroy what he made. Some men leave statues. Lucky Luciano left a system. And systems, as it turns out, are far harder to kill. Word count: 1,512. 1,512.